Hey artists, welcome back. I hope after the last two videos I posted, you guys have been putting some time aside to visualize and to work on your affirmations. For today's video, I think it's really important to discuss the red flags and the scams that we have to keep an eye out for while pursuing our dreams, because they are everywhere. Once we get the hang of visualizing, imagining our future, and manifesting our dreams, the excitement can really take over. Sometimes the hype of envisioning the big successful outcome can make us get ahead of ourselves and overlook the red flags and the scams that may appear. Sometimes we so badly just want all our dreams to manifest as soon as possible that we jump on every offer and opportunity that comes our way. With all the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, we feel we finally deserve our big break, which rightfully so you do. But even though we deserve our talents to be recognized, we still have to recognize when something doesn't feel right or is a little off. I've been in the music industry for over 13 years, and I've been acting and modeling pretty much the same amount of time that I've been pursuing music. I've had my fair share of scams throughout my time, and I still encounter them to this day. The only difference is that I'm wiser now, I have years of experience, and I'm fully aware of what to look out for. Let's just say I had to learn the hard way, and most people do. Unfortunately, the best way to avoid a scam is to experience them. When you hear other people's stories of how they got taken advantage of, it's really easy to judge and to think that that could never happen to you. But when you're face to face and your dreams are dangling right in front of you and you're hearing all the things that you want to hear, you'd be very surprised how easy of a target you can be. One really important thing to remember is to not let these scams and red flags put out your flame and stop you from following your dreams and taking risks. It's important to try new things and to take risks, but you have to be smart in doing so. Before I get into some typical red flags and some scams to look out for, I just want to say it's really important to trust your gut and listen to your instincts. Your intuition is usually always right. If you feel like something is off 90% of the time, that's because something definitely is off. And remember to be easy on yourself if you didn't pick up on something and you were taken advantage of. These days, people are extremely sneaky and clever, and technology is just getting more and more crazy. It's so easy for things to be altered or manipulated, so just remember that you're only human, and it's really easy for things to be deceptive. This video is really hard for me to make because I feel like scams are happening 24/7 and it's really hard to cover them all. So right now I just want to talk about the ones that are the most popular or the most common that I see happening often. I hope this can help you guys out and to keep you on your toes and keep you aware of what's to come. Number one, email scams. I get so many of these, they're always so different, so it's really hard to say how it's going to come your way or what the whole email is going to be about. But I just want to make this very clear. If somebody doesn't address you by name in the beginning of the email, that's already a red flag. So for example, they might use your Instagram handle, so it'll say something like, "Hi at Michelle_Sangali," or they'll just simply say, "Hi." And then they start speaking in very general terms and they don't know much about you as an artist. They don't really say much about themselves, but there's always something fantastic in this email. It always sounds too good to be true. And a lot of the times if they're asking for money or to sign a contract, just do your research and watch out. And you can tell right away that this is just an automated email that they're sending to millions of accounts and they're just waiting to see who they're going to reel in and who's going to fall for it. Number two, pay to play. This is such a scam and it has been going on for years and years. And unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but I have fallen for this once before when I was just getting started and in my younger years. This is when a venue owner or someone who has access to a venue approaches you and gives you the opportunity to perform. Sounds like fun, but there's a catch. They usually will say that you have to sell tickets and they're usually between the price of $10 or $15 a ticket, and they'll give you maybe about 50 tickets. What happens here is you're doing the legwork and you're trying to scramble and find people to sell these tickets to. And it's really not easy when you're just getting started and you're a new artist to find people who want to see you perform. So what happens is you end up selling these tickets to mom, dad, brother, sister, boyfriend, best friend, and coworkers. So you're really not getting too much exposure when you're performing in front of your friends and family. The venue owner will usually offer you 50% of the ticket sales. So let's say you sold all 50 tickets, best case scenario, and they're $10 a ticket. Half of that is $25. Meanwhile, the venue owner has already asked you and 20 other musicians who are doing the same thing. So he's just sitting back while you guys are making all the money for him, and you're only going home with $25 while he's making 50% of all the ticket sales from each and every artist there. This is really unfair because you as the artist are doing all the work and you're performing just in front of your friends and family, and it really isn't always the best exposure. And not to mention, you're usually standing there for 5 or 6 hours before it's finally your turn to get on stage. Long story short, it's never a good idea to pay to play. It's a really big scam, and there are so many opportunities out there where you can play for free and you can play in front of strangers and people that could really love your music, instead of mom and dad. Number 3, social media promotion scams. I get like 5 of these a week, and this is mainly on Instagram. These pages and services offer different promotional packages to feature you on their social media accounts. They either can put you in their story for 24 hours, or they'll offer you some more time on the actual grid for an extra amount of money. And you'll notice that they usually DM or comment on your post literally 3 seconds after you post it. So now you have this awesome opportunity, and you'll end up going to their page, and usually you'll notice that they have a great big following, well over 100K, maybe 500K, and some of them can even be in the millions. And now to you, this looks like fantastic exposure. You'll notice that their posts are other emerging artists just like you, so that you feel reassured that other people are doing this too. These accounts are full of red flags. If you dig deep enough, you'll realize that all their followers are fake accounts. So if your music is being pushed to bots, you're certainly not gaining more fans or exposure or getting any type of recognition. If you have to pay somebody to be featured on their social media account, it most likely is a scam. Number 4, playlist placement scams. And this is pretty similar to the social media promo scams. These services will offer to get your music played and added to very popular playlists with huge amounts of listeners. Again, you're paying for bots to listen to your music. And now some of you might think, well, who cares? At least I'm getting streams and I'm getting plays and it looks really good. But this can really mess with the algorithm. And when you mess with the algorithm, your music is going to pay. Bots are very random and sporadic, making it harder to reach real people who like your style and music. Spotify uses patterns to know who to push your music to. So if it's very random and sporadic and in all these categories just so that you could get streams and have bots listen to your music, this can really confuse the algorithm and make it very hard for your music to find the right category and to find the right people. Number 5, publicist scams. Unfortunately, another scam I fell into throughout my career. Music publicist sounds like a great idea, and it can be if you're at the right place in your career and it really makes sense to have one. If you are a newer and an emerging artist, this really isn't the best time for this. Publicists come in handy when you've established a recognized brand or name. Yes, you may feel you deserve a publicist and that you're ready, but at the end of the day, you really have to be honest with yourself and take a good look at your career. You need to really think, are you well established enough where this would make sense? A real publicist can cost thousands of dollars a campaign or a project. So if you're being quoted a really good deal, you need to be aware of that and a little cautious. Look out for people who say they want to work with you and will charge you exposure on huge publications and media outlets, especially if they guarantee it. Now, yes, a publicist can get you on a couple music blogs here and there. They could give you some tips and advice, but at the end of the day, the money that you're putting out is never worth what you're getting back in return, especially if you're not an established artist who is ready for a high quality publicist. Be aware of people that want to work with you and want to charge you money when you're a new artist and they're offering you these too good to be true deals. All artists really need to be aware that nobody in the industry truly cares about what you have to offer or sell. They don't care if you're talented or not. They see you as a paying customer and somebody whose head is so far in the clouds that you're such an easy target, so you really need to be smart. The artist is always the one handing out the money. It's sad, but it's true. So 99% of the time, if something sounds like it's too good to be true, it most likely is. Overall, be aware of anyone who approaches you, who isn't selective, and is willing to work with anyone who will pay them. Be aware of people who make guarantees and offer amazing deals for an amazing price. Always follow your gut. Don't be so obsessed with making it that you fall into everybody's trap and hang on to everybody's word that tells you exactly what you want to hear. And now this video isn't to discourage anybody. You may be talented and deserve your big break and deserve the easiest offer and the best offer, but unfortunately the world just doesn't work that way. Unless you have unlimited amounts of money that you could just throw away and you have connections to somebody in the industry, it's gonna take a little more time and unfortunately be more of a struggle to get to your finish line. But you heard the quote, if it was easy, then everybody would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. There is no fast track to success. There's harsh lessons, there's setbacks, there's mistakes, there's self-doubt and letdowns. But the good news is that you'll come out of it wiser and braver and more confident and not so easy to fool. You'll be unstoppable and every scammer's nightmare. Be your own little detective, do your research, and don't let them scare you. Have a great week, guys, and I'll see you next Tuesday.